What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge. It is a very happy Wednesday. And let's see, before we get started, let's take a look at the recap screen because I said it was happy, but I got to be honest, these results are kind of middling here. 3-4. We got to do better than that. That is definitely a losing record. I'll say this, though. A couple of you in the chat, Bradley Jacobs, I see you. Big Cheesy, I see you. I know some of you put bets in the chat that you've already come in here and said have cashed, which I absolutely love to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get right to it on a Wednesday because this is always a very special day because we have Martin Green, Tim Doyle, and Mike McClure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Wednesday show of shows. We've got the Golden Hammer, which you know is always a great thing. Mike, let me start with you here. We're going to get into Martin Green's picks in a second, but I want to start with you. Maybe some reaction from yesterday in the NBA. We had another crazy Knicks Sixers game. Where do you see this series going? I mean, it seems to me at this point, we're looking at a game 7 back in New York.
Yeah, I think we see a game 7 where the Knicks ultimately choke and do what the Knicks do. They've had their opportunities. They shouldn't have won game 2. They did. They ultimately got away with that one and really blew one last night, whether it's the decision-making, the missed free throws. I cannot believe they didn't foul Maxey. I tweet about it all the time. Many people do. You always foul up 3 late, no matter what. Doesn't matter who it is. Should always foul up 3, especially with shooters like that in the NBA and the talent level at this point in the game. We talk about that logo 3 like it's some miraculous deep shot. It's not that deep of a shot when it's essentially unguarded, right? So I think that the Sixers, Tyrese Maxey was incredible. He saved the season, but yeah, I think they definitely win on their home floor in the next game.
Yeah, that logo 3, especially from, the top of the key or just beyond the top of the key. I mean, that's like the easiest 3 to hit. Tim Doyle, I proved that yesterday at a gym in Washington, D.C., which was a tweet I tagged you on. What's your reaction to whether you want to react to Sixers, Knicks, or maybe Milwaukee, Indiana with Giannis potentially coming back? Indiana got absolutely spanked for 3 out of 4 quarters in that game last night.
Yeah, you're trying to close out a championship caliber team. There's guys in that team that won the title on, their home floor. I actually took the Bucks on the money line, took the Bucks plus the points because I went through the shooting splits, guys. Bucks shot 48% during the regular season. That's what they're shooting in this series. They shot 37% from 3 in the regular season. That's what they're shooting in this series. So it just came down to defense. They got stops, and that was the difference. As for McClure's points, game 1, Philly was up 6 in the third. Game 2 was obviously the disaster, up 5 with 27 seconds left. In game 4, they were up 10 in the third quarter. So I just watching Embiid eyeball test, I would say he's at about 62%. He had a hard time moving, so many turnovers, just looked really sloppy. They actually got away from giving him the ball. And to think about, this guy was going to be the MVP if he's going to stay healthy. That means he's really not in good shape. I do think Philly wins game 6, but the Knicks win game 7. But either way, I'm actually going to be on the call that game 6 in Philadelphia. So pretty cool, pretty excited.
That is very, very exciting. Where can we find that, Tim Doyle? Where can we find you on the call, I should say?
I'll be on the alternate broadcast of TNT, which will be on True TV. So I'll be on the call that game. We're giving you every breakdown, every bet, every player prop, live betting. Get involved, Sia.
I absolutely love that. I will get involved. By the way, Chris Kish got involved yesterday. He points out he had a UCL 4-leg parlay yesterday that he put in the chat. He's going to put another one in here. That one hit as well. This chat is on fire. All right, Martin Green, we've got, what is it? Joel Embiid at 62%, which is exactly what I had him at. But we have you at 100%. We're looking to bat 100 here, or at least 1,000 in your 2 soccer plays. What do you have for us today?
Let's hope I can emulate Joel Embiid, Sia. Let's hope. There's obviously the Champions League is returning today. My picks on yesterday's Champions League semi-final between Bayern and Real Madrid all paid off. Both teams to score an over 2.5 goals. I had the draw and I had Harry Kane to score. So hopefully that was a good one for SportsLine subscribers. That was a pretty easy game to handicap, to be honest, as they're 2 attacking teams that both struggle defensively and they're quite evenly matched. Today's game sees Borussia Dortmund take on PSG in Germany, and I must admit it's a tougher game to call. However, PSG did beat Dortmund 2-0 in Paris in the group stage and they drew 1-1 in Germany. These teams are very familiar with each other, but PSG got the better of them earlier in the season. So I think that could give them a psychological edge. Dortmund are also coming off a 4-1 defeat to RB Leipzig at the weekend, which was a really poor defensive performance. So I'm going to go PSG draw no bet at -125. I wouldn't put anyone off doing the classic both teams to score an over 2.5 goals bet either, because it does seem like it should be another open and entertaining game with a lot of quality attackers on the pitch, but both teams kind of struggle a bit in defence. So that's my reading of that game. And just looking ahead really quickly to the weekend, I like Lazio to beat Monza on the road in Serie A. Odds of -120 there with BetMGM. Lazio are on a 4-game winning streak right now, really improving under their new manager, Giovanni Matuschiello. Hope I pronounced that one correctly. Monza are winless in their last 5 matches, really struggling at the moment. Lazio have never lost to Monza, and they beat them 2-0 away last season. So just a straight Lazio money line play for me at the weekend.
Let me ask you this. Snug the Cat has what looks to me like a pretty obscure question, but maybe in your eyes it's not. He says, Guru, I found a weird bet I thought was interesting for champions today. Both teams over 2.5 corners and both teams over 1.5 cards at +138. What are your thoughts?
I think that sounds like a pretty good bet. Yeah, I think it's just quite an obscure prop because it's rare for anyone to combine cards with corners, but you would have to imagine that both teams would cover that corner line. I can see both teams having over 1.5 cards as well, because they both have quick forwards and they both like to play on the counter attack. So there could be some tactical fouling as players bring them down. So yeah, +138. I would take that. Looks like a good one, Snug.
All right. I think a couple people in the chat certainly agree with that. If you want to make that bet, or if you want to make the 2 official plays that Guru just gave out, well, you can do it at BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, we got to get to some baseball. We got to get to some NBA. We got to get to my baseball pick, and we're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
Sail GP returns to the beaches of Bermuda. On CBS Sports Network.
We are back on the Early Edge presented by BetMGM. And the reason Tim is smiling is because he loves this pick. I can tell. Speaking of Philadelphia, we're not going to the Sixers, at least not yet. We're going to the Philadelphia Phillies. And everybody knows I usually do the first 5 thing. We hit that yesterday, but I'm going full game and I'm going to lay the run line here -1.5. Part of the reason for this, or I'd say the primary reason I'm not doing the first 5, is because I really like the bullpen matchup here. Normally, I just don't want to get the bullpens involved. I don't want a manager involved in terms of, making an incorrect move, an incorrect chess move. But here, the Phillies bullpen is just so much better than the Angels bullpen. And I like the Phillies bats a lot better too. So I'm willing to lay the run line as opposed to laying the run line in the first 5. Because if I was going true first 5, would be like -180, -200. I don't want to lay the half run. I'd rather lay the 1.5 over the 9 innings. I just love this matchup. Zach Wheeler against Pablo Sandoval. Pablo Sandoval actually started out the season decent. The last 2 games, he's really gotten roughed up against teams that aren't very good. Zach Wheeler, on the other hand, sort of the opposite trajectory. Started off a little off and has really kind of honed in over the last 2 games. I love how these Phillies bats look. They've won 5 out of 6, and in each of those 5, they have won by 2 or more runs. So just in a really good spot to support Wheeler, to fade Sandoval. We fade 2 Sandovals, Pablo and Tom. We don't fade Tom Schwartz, though. That is a Vanderpump reference that only like 12 of you got. It was worth it. All right, that's my play. Phillies -1.5. I know that's a popular play among people in the chat as well, at least in terms of taking the Phillies one way or the other. I believe there might be some SportsLine picks from others on the Phillies as well. All right, Tim. We're done with my baseball pick. We've talked about some NBA games that might be happening tomorrow, but you've got 2 NBA picks for tonight.
Yeah, interesting. Last night, guys, since I was going to be working Thursday, I actually needed the Bucks to win to extend the series, or the Sixers to win to extend the series, because if both those series would have ended, no work for Timmy on Thursday. So what did I do? I took a money line parlay of the 2 favorites in that game to hedge my work paycheck, because it's rare you have a profession where you can hedge your work paycheck. But I did it there, and I was happy to lose because the work paycheck's a little bit more. And I said, you want to some see? I'm going to make a profit on this night somehow, some way. So anyway, if you have a job where you can hedge your work paycheck, amazing. Derby is Saturday. I'm going to be giving out my Derby pick. This is my Derby shirt. Okay, size doesn't matter, but lengths do. Okay. First, let's go to the NBA. The Miami Heat are dead. This game is hard to handicap because they have no chance tonight. So let's bet their team total under. Last two games, 84, 88. They had 94 in game one, but they actually had 35 points in the fourth quarter because that game was an absolute blowout. The only game in my eyes that has really gone over is the game where they went crazy, 23 for 43 from three, and they scored 111 points, winning game two, and giving us a false belief, including myself, that this may be a series. Give me under their team total, 92.5. And next, I like the Clippers. I don't know. Maybe this spread is like weird, and I like to go towards the weird, but the Clippers have shown they can make shots. Dallas's defense is not disrupting them, and you're getting points at home. I get it. The Mavericks are very up and down. Ever since the regular season ended, they had an odd end to the regular season. They lost to the Pistons. They lost by 50 to OKC. And this series has certainly been a roller coaster. But I'm going to get the home team, and I'm going to get points. I had success with it last night with the Bucks, so I'm going to run it back here with the Clippers. And my Derby pick, Mike Rapoli, founded Vitamin Water. He's actually St. John's biggest booster. How do I know that? I won a St. John's and IT championship that is now vacated, Sia. So if you want to buy this, this is low three figures, okay, if you want to get involved in this. Rapoli has the favorite, Fierceness. Just go back and watch the Florida Derby. The horse, the jockey was like this. And no pumps. Forget about whips. No pumps. If he goes back and gets that same race, because the key is the horse has speed, and in a stampede of 20 horses, you want to make sure you don't get kind of screwed and blocked and shuffled. So if he's sitting wide, if he's third on the outside, doesn't necessarily need the lead. If he gets the lead, 48 seconds to the half, this race is over. This horse is going to end up winning the Triple Crown. So he has Triple Crown capability. So I'm going with Fierceness. I know there's not much value there, but that is my Derby pick. Let's get lucky tonight. And to the Rapoli fans out there, I'm going to be hammering them.
Hey, Tim, for somebody who doesn't bet a lot on the Derby or kind of never does, maybe takes a long shot here or there. I understand Fierceness is one of the favorites. I think they're in the plus 300-ish range, or at least they will be at closing time. Is there a long shot that you like that's 10-1 or longer, or have you not gotten that far yet?
I appreciate you putting me on the spot, Sia, because there's 20 horses running that day. But yes, I will give you a long shot that I like, because I emailed the old Gene Mendez, okay? And the long shot I like is Forever Young. Wide throughout in the UAB Derby. Horse has been remarkable. The horse is okay, you guys run. I'm going to sit 5 wide, both turns. I think the horse is an absolute giant. Fierceness, here's the deal. He could get into the top of the stretch. If he starts heavy breathing, then all of a sudden, Sierra Leone is going to be coming from the clouds. This horse, Forever Young, could be sitting on the outside, maybe take the lead. So if Fierceness falls apart, anything could happen here in the Derby.
Okay, first of all, Tim, I believe it's Gene Menez as opposed to Mendez, but I can't really be correcting anybody since I definitely said Pablo Sandoval instead of Patrick Sandoval. I had so many Sandovals in my head with Tom up in there as well that I picked one and I got the wrong one. So Mark Buchholz, thanks for pointing that out. Bradley Jacobs, thank you for getting the Vanderpump Rules reference. I really appreciate that. All right, we're done with that nonsense. Mike McClure, it's up to you to close us here. You've got an MLB pick. What is it?
I like the Chicago Cubs here tonight, Sia. I think this is a good pitching matchup for them. Imanaga on the mound. Love the pitching environment. So you'll hear me talk about park factors a lot throughout the season. This is basically the second best environment in Major League Baseball. The first is going to be Seattle, and it's really by a wide margin. But when you get to Citi Field here, especially in the early or late months when you're talking about temperatures in the 60s, that park should hold the baseball. That's good news for Shota here. I like his pitch arsenal. I think he's undervalued. But what I think is going to happen in this game here, this New York Mets team, they really don't strike out against the left-handed pitching, but they don't walk either. They're going to put the ball in play pretty often here. as long as we don't have a ton of really negative batted ball luck here, I think this could be a very deep outing for Imanaga where he pitches 7 innings or more in this baseball game. On the other side, Beauty's that great of a starting pitcher. I think he has benefited from pitching in this environment 3 of his 4 starts. But when I look at his pitch arsenal here, it's a 4-seam fastball, a sinker, a changeup, and a slider. He's throwing too many pitches, but it's the sinking fastball that he typically throws right next to that 4-seam fastball. That's the pitch where he's had a lot of struggles. 346 weighted on base average. The expected number, though, when we look at the expected data, is up to 462. I think it's going to be a great spot to back the Cubs here. I made them minus 133. So I played them here minus 115.
All right, I love that. And by the way, I forgot. I saw Martin Green in the chat talking Kentucky Derby, and it occurs to me now that, Mike, not only do you sometimes do some Kentucky Derby, but Martin Green, I shouldn't say Kentucky Derby, like the horse racing in general. Martin Green, you do a little bit of that as well. Is there a horse that you're looking at, or maybe multiple horses that you're looking at in this one?
Well, funnily enough, Sia, I completely agree with everything Tim said. I've gone for Fierceness to win. He just looks like the superior runner to Sierra Leone for me. He was just absolutely tremendous in the Florida Derby on March the 30th, won by 13.5 lengths. I think if he replicates that performance, he will just finish well clear of the field. But I have also hedged with Forever Young, really exciting Japanese thoroughbred, won all 5 starts so far. Terrific in the Saudi Derby, the UAE Derby. He's just coming off a great run of form. So I like both of those horses. For slightly longer shots, I was looking at Catching Freedom, who won the Louisiana Derby. Looks very strong. And even longer shot, Honor Marie, who I just thought was disappointing in the Risen Star. But he looked very good in that Louisiana Derby, just short of Catching Freedom. So I'd go for him for a slightly longer shot.
Tim, you are absolutely priceless. By the way, if Mike, I want to go to you in a second, but next Wednesday, can we all agree to wear sunglasses like when we open the show, and then we can take them off right away? I just want to see the optics of all of us matching Tim's flow with sunglasses. Mike, like you're the one I know I have to convince. Can I get you to wear sunglasses to open the show next Wednesday?
I will wear sunglasses to open the show. Absolutely.
Let's go. All right, talk to us about the Kentucky Derby. Any picks? I know it's still a little early. Any picks? It's this Saturday that you have on the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, yeah, I'll be on a lot of shows, unfortunately, with Tim Doyle. We'll be talking back and forth. But I do agree. That's the unfortunate part. Sierra Leone is the one horse that I really like. But the one that Martin mentioned, Catching Freedom, I think a little bit more of a long shot. I definitely think this is setting up well for him. So I'll get a little more in-depth on some of those other shows you'll have to tune into. But Sierra Leone at the top for sure.
See, I've already booked my flight to Albany because I will be first year ever. The Belmont Stakes will not be run at Belmont Park. It will actually be run at Saratoga Racecourse, which if you have not been there, Martin, you got to take a pilgrimage. Unbelievable. Okay. Great little downtown, couple bars and stuff, great restaurants. But I'm going to be flying to Saratoga because I'm going to be there for the Belmont Stakes, first time ever at Saratoga, because Fierceness will be running for the Triple Crown there. So I've already booked my flight. I've booked because the flight, you got to do it now. You got to bet on it now because those prices, bada bing, they're going to the moon. See, all of a sudden I'm going to be paying $4,000 a night. I can't be doing that. I'm going to have no money for my bankroll. So I will be in Saratoga for the Belmont, and Rapoli will be there. He's already won the Belmont with his horse to win the Triple Crown.
All right. Well, as you heard, we're going to have a lot more Kentucky Derby coverage on SportsLine, along with the other legs of the Triple Crown. By the way, Bitsy says, Sia, what's the name of the SportsLine app? I believe it's called SportsLine. And I'm not trying to be cute with my answer here, but it shouldn't be hard to find. By the way, if you want to become a member of SportsLine, we got a lot of people watching. Go to sportsline.com/join and type in the promo code winners. You'll get 60% off the annual plan. Again, type in winners. You get 60% off an annual plan that's already extremely inexpensive. There was one other comment that I wanted to get to. Oh, it was Rick Funcan who says Doyle nailed the Derby winner last year. Is that true, Tim?
Yeah, Mage. I had him at 16-1. Also had the Belmont winner, Arcangelo. So here's the deal. You're either a Fierceness person or you're not. So if he runs back to, as Martin says, the Florida Derby, this is a wrap. If he gets boxed, doesn't get out of the gate, it's a stampede, he's behind horses, then it's going to get weird. And we've seen a lot of derbies get weird, right? Rich Strike won. He paid like $1 million to 1. Mind That Bird paid $1 million to 1. So if Fierceness gets screwed, basically, by the other horses, then this is going to be wide open.
Absolutely. One last thing before we bring up the recap screen. A lot of times I come on Wednesday with a golf pick for tomorrow, so like an early morning matchup. I didn't see anything I liked, but you can expect me to have a matchup tomorrow for the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. My article will be out in a couple of hours. I was just waiting for a couple more matchups to come out with a couple of more sports books. So look out for that on sportsline.com. Go to the analysis section. You'll see my article. Tim, go ahead. Close us.
I was just wondering, with your microphone, is that a microphone condom? Like, what is that that's protecting it? Are you worried like you spit a lot onto your microphone? I'm just wondering what that is.
Tim, you're a pro. It's one of those like filters, so it doesn't pick up some of the hard consonants in a bad way, if you will.
Interesting, yeah, because it looks like very Stevie Wonder. Like I feel like you're like recording something. Like you need your hand to your ear.
Maybe I am. Tim, maybe I am. All right, we got to record the recap screen right now. Let's see what we got. We got Martin Green, PSG, DNB, and Lazio money line. I've got the Phillies -1.5. I certainly also kind of like them first 5 -0.5, but I decided to take the bullpens here too. Phillies -1.5. Tim Doyle, Heat team total under 92.5, and the Clippers +2.5. And then Mike McClure is on the Cubs money line. We've got baseball all day. We've got soccer all day. We've got NBA tonight, and we've got our show coming back for you tomorrow with all of this, NBA, MLB, soccer, and of course, we're going to have some golf plays too. Go to Sportsline, check out all the golf articles, not just from me, but from guys like Mike McClure with his simulations, or Eric Cohen or Patrick McDonald. There's so much content there for you in really, truly every single sport. On behalf of Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, Mike McClure, Martin Green, and Tim Doyle. My name is Sia Nejad, counselor. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.